Hi everyone, welcome to Zephyr Travels. I'm Diane. Randy will join you in a couple of minutes. In today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to replace the foam in our cushions in the Airstream. The reason we're going to do this is because after 5 years, the cushion or the foam in the cushions is starting to get a little soft, and it does, it's not very supportive. So we decided that we would order new foam. We're only going to do the bottom half of the cushions, so that will pretty much be Randy's part of the what we're doing. He'll be doing the cutting, and I'll probably help in stuffing the cushions themselves.
Yeah, like Diane said, after 5 years of, actually almost 6 years now of sitting in this trailer, we found that where we sit, we're actually now sitting pretty much on the plywood. The cushions just collapse underneath us. And so a lot of other people we've talked to have done this. They've had it done on their trailers. So we thought it was something we could try ourselves. We've seen some videos of other people doing it. And it's probably something that you could do to your trailer, even if it's not an Airstream. It's really a matter of, can you take apart your cushions and pull the foam out? Is there zippers in the back of them or not? And ours happen to have that. So we're going to tackle this. We're going to just do the bottom cushions because the back cushions really don't get that much wear and tear. And they being a little bit softer on your back is probably not a big deal. Well, let's head out to our garage, which is going to be our studio for the day, and let's get started. So to do this project, there's really no special tools needed. We've got a couple of knives, and I went with these inexpensive knives that have the breakaway blades. And the idea is I could actually flip this out and get quite a long blade out of it. And that's really what I'm looking for. It's not so much the breakaway part, but I want a longer blade to cut through the foam. So we have a couple of those. Got a couple of Sharpies to mark where we're going to cut. We have a straight edge, and this happens to be 4 feet, 90-degree square.
We have a pair of scissors.
We have a pair of scissors. We have a big piece of foam. As you can see, this is probably about 7 feet square, and it comes in different sizes. I did some measurements, and hopefully they work out correctly. But it looks like I can fit all the cushions on here and then just get everything I need out of one piece of foam as opposed to having to buy 2 pieces. Now you can buy a half a piece or you can buy a full sheet when you order this, and I bought a full sheet. This sheet cost about $180. It is 5-inch thick foam, fairly dense but not super dense, so it's not going to be really hard. We also got some glue, and we're going to use the glue. This happens to be 3M multi-purpose adhesive, and we've got some batting, and that's what the glue is for. The glue is going to glue the batting on. You're going to see how that looks when we pull the old foam out of the seat covers and lay them out here. You'll see the batting's glued onto it, so we'll go through that step too. Now I want to say that we're not professional upholsterers. We're just like you guys, just kind of anxious to try this ourselves. So we may make mistakes. We may not do everything exactly the correct way, but we're doing our best, and we're kind of going to learn a little bit as we go along, just like you guys. So let's get started.
Okay.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and pull all the cushions out of the Airstream. We're going to bring them out here, and we're going to just kind of lay them out on the foam before we pull about the cushions out of the foam out of the cushions, and just make sure it all does fit and get a nice. The next step is just to start taking these apart.
You want me to help? Got that.
start marking and cutting. And for this part, I'm just going to make some marks here and here. And then I'm going to put the straight edge in there and verify my cuts with that. Now, from what I've read, they suggest you don't compress the foam when you cut it. What you want to do is leave it like this and try to cut through as much as you can in one tight cut. I'm hoping this knife will work. There's some other options that you can use. One of the things that a lot of people use is electric carving knife, like the one you see on Thanksgiving with the two blades that kind of go back and forth. That's supposed to cut it pretty good. We don't have one of those, or I'd be using that. I'm thinking that if this doesn't work, or if I need something longer, I might try like a serrated bread knife, might work better. But we're going to start with this and see how this does. So I've cut a little over halfway through, just taking my time going back and forth. Now I'm thinking, how do we want to cut this, continue this cut? But, maybe just keep forcing the knife down into the cut like this. I tell you, it does seem to work better if I angle the knife, trying to put it straight in. First piece cut. I think my edges are fairly straight. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more cuts to go. Piece of cake. All the pieces have been roughly cut to shape. They're still square. But if you notice, the originals have rounded edges on them. And so that's the next step. I'm going to round these edges off. Now I've got to be careful here because I think these edges have also worn a little bit. And so like this edge here was probably square to begin with and it's kind of worn into this shape. So I'm not going to round that edge. I am going to round this edge. But I'm not going to round it to the same degree as here because I think, again, the foam is worn a little bit. And to get a kind of a even curve, I've got just a round piece of something here that I'm going to put in place, kind of draw a line like this, and I'm just going to cut that corner off. Again, I'm going to be wrapping all this, including these corners, with the batten, so getting this exact doesn't really matter. Probably want to get it a little bit better than that, but this gives you essentially the rough idea of what I'm trying to do. I think I'm going to just take this top edge off just a little bit too. There. So now I've got a few more pieces to round off, and I will be ready to start putting the batten on it. But I think before I do that, I want to test fit a few of these just to make sure I've cut them. I want them to be slightly oversized. I want to, kind of force them into the covers, but I want to make sure that I haven't cut them too big, and that maybe I do need to round off in a corner here because it doesn't fit in there very well, or whatever it might need. I want to be prepared for that. So we'll head on to the next step. Now that we've got everything cut, our next step is we're going to test fit them back into the covers just temporarily to see how they fit. Now, my experience, I actually did one of these off camera. My experience was that my sizing is just a little bit large, which is okay. I don't mind that so much because it allows me to adjust things a little bit and trim them down. I can always take a little bit away. I can't add any more on very easily. So this is one of the dinette seat cushions, and we're gonna start here. Now, I do want this to be a snug fit, but one thing you have to keep in mind is I'm going to put the batting over it too. So it's going to get a little thicker, which will probably make it a little harder to get in if I have trouble with it now. As you can already see, it's going to be a pretty tight fit. I mean, this is foam, it does compress. I know one way that some places put these together is they put them into a very thin plastic bag, like something from a dry cleaner's, and then they vacuum them. They vacuum them so they take a lot of the air out. Foam shrinks. It allows you to get it in there a lot easier. I don't have that capability. So we're just using muscle. Okay, everything's in. It's a very tight fit. If I wasn't going to put any batting on it, this would be fine. But I've got very sharp edges here, and I want it to be slightly more rounded on the edges. That's what the batting's going to do for me. But to do that, it looks like I need to trim a little bit off the length. This way seems to be fine. But my guess is I'm probably 3/4 of an inch or so on the length that I could take off. Maybe a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to trim them. We're also going to round this corner off a little bit, because I think that will help. It doesn't need to be a square corner. But you see, if I just went in and put the batting on them at this point and then tried to put them together, I don't know if it would have been way too tight, and I don't know if I would be able to get them together and have it look the way I want. So it's important to test fit them before you go to the next step of the batting. So So we're going to take 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch off that end. Get out our trusty knife, and we'll cut them one at a time. And I found this a little easier to cut them over the edge of the table as opposed to right on the table. I don't have to worry about scratching the table up. And like I said, I'm going to round this corner off. I'm just going to miter it. That's the wrong corner. That was the wrong corner, but I don't think it's going to matter that much. I might give this one a little bit too. Okay. And this piece. And this corner, miter. Very good. Now we'll squeeze her back in one more time just to make sure we've trimmed enough. There. Very good fit. There. So everything fits really good. It's nice and snug. It's actually going to be a little bit tighter when I put the batten material on it, but it will also help it with the, or give it a little bit of a softer, cushiony look to it. So we'll pull her apart, start doing the batten material. I'm working with a spray adhesive here, so I'm putting plastic on the table to protect it. Pull this out. And we're going to trim it to size. The width is pretty good. I was able to get the right width right from the store, which is probably normal because they probably sell this in a typical sizing to do most cushions. And you can imagine most cushions are, 36 inches or less. So, pull this out because I got to cut it down the middle. I'm going to put the straight factory edge to the center here and let the jagged edge be in the back. So to glue this, fold out, lay it out, get it in position, take your piece, fold it over, and now you just want to apply a little bit of glue along this top edge. We need to do about an inch and a half or so. Across here. And probably a little bit down here. Now, same edges on here. Now you want to let this set for just about a minute or so. It doesn't need to set for long, but just enough to tack up. So you're going to get it all over your fingers. I found that mineral spirits is about the best thing to get it off your hands. Alcohol did not touch it. And it's not going to wash off with soap and water. So use a little mineral spirits on a paper towel and that seemed to work pretty well. So once that's had a chance to tack up, you just want to lay this piece right over. Sticky side to sticky side. Now right here I'm going to finish off the end with a little adhesive here. Now just repeat for this side, pull this side back. Now I found that a can of this does probably 1.5 pieces of foam. So I've ordered 2 cans to get started on this. It's not going to be enough. I just ordered 2 more cans, which I think will get me through. I can go as far as I can with the materials I have, but then I'm going to have to stop the project for a little bit and wait for more glue to come in. I've got a rounded edge here, and I want to fold this over it, and I want to trim it so I don't have a bunched up piece. So I'm going to cut the corner right here a little bit, let this come down, and I'm going to come in here and trim that top piece so it fits. There we go. One piece ready to go in. This piece is going to be a little bit more complicated because I'm wrapping the front edge on it too. Just about out of glue. Okay. Lay this out for this edge. You notice I haven't done anything here and I haven't done anything here yet. Now the other half, and I'm going to try to get the last little bit of glue out of this. I think that's it. Time for the next can. Okay, now for the front edge. And what I said by this is getting a little complicated. We have to wrap a curved edge here and a little bit of a curved edge there. So the way I did this is I cut straight down here. It gives me a piece to wrap over. There. Everything's nicely wrapped. Got some good shape to it. Ready to go into the cushion. Alright, here's our finished pieces of foam. I brought our seat cover back in here, so we're going to put these in. see once again everything's back to fitting pretty tight, even after I took that little bit of foam off. I replaced it with the batting, and it's going to end up being a very nice tight fit. There. Bring it all back together. So here you have it. Cushions are all redone. They're very nice and firm. This ought to last for a number of years. Oh, I've got a few more to do. I don't have enough glue to finish them all today. So we will break away and get these all done, and then a couple days I'll show you back in the trailer how they look.
Yeah. Well, Randy finished the project of putting new foam in the cushions of the Airstream, so we're gonna test them out. Let's see how they feel. Ooh, much stiffer. Feels much better though. You don't sink in, you kind of just, you know, sit on top, and it's a lot more support. Yeah. So I think it was a, you know, good move in replacing the foam, and it wasn't really that difficult of a job, was it?
No, it took a little longer than I think I expected it to take. I thought get it done in an afternoon, but you know, not having enough glue kind of slowed it down, and it was really probably a day's job.
Right.
To do them all.
And again, Randy did not do the back cushions, just the seat cushions, which I think really all that really needed to be replaced. So yeah, it was well worth the time, and the cost wasn't that much.
So I'm going to do a little bit of a comparison of what the new cushions are like to the old, and this is one of the backrest pieces. So this is the old foam. And I'm going to sit on this, and you're going to see how much I sink down. So I go down quite a bit. You can see this collapses probably 50%. And this is essentially what they were like when they were new. As they aged, we were literally sitting right on the plywood underneath. It completely collapsed. Where if I were to sit on this, it goes down maybe 25% or so. So it's a big difference. I think this foam, even as it wears, will wear a lot longer. And I think we're going to get a lot more life out of this and out of these cushions. To be honest with you, I think I was worried that we were going to have to replace this, reupholster all this at some point in the near future because of the way the cushions were. Now I think we've got another 5 years, 6 years out of these cushions. Probably, I think, the foam will last longer than that, but the cushions will probably wear and we'll want to replace them at some point. But the foam is great. I like it. I think this can be much more comfortable when we travel. Well, now it's all done. Are you happy?
Yeah, very happy. It was a good project.
Yeah, it was. And we got the cushions a little cleaner by soaking them. We unfortunately we do have a couple stains in them that didn't come out, but
Well,
that's
that's
just
expected after 5 years,
6 years.
6 years.
Yeah. The cost on this whole project was about $200.
Yeah.
I think that was reasonable for what we did.
Very reasonable, yes.
Yeah, and it is definitely something. It's definitely a do-it-yourself type of project. I probably could have done a better job cutting it. I think if I had like an electric carving knife or something, it would cut it smoother. But other than that, I mean, anybody can do this. It's just a matter of taking your old ones and using them as a template, cut them slightly larger, and then trimming them up to make them fit. A little bit of glue in, and you're all done.
Yep.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it. If you did and you want to kind of pay us back a little bit, hit that thumbs up button. And what else should they do?
Subscribe to our channel, Zephyr Travels.
And we will see you next time as we get ready to go down the road.
Okay. See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.